Before we get into today's edition of Just the Truth, Mike Lindell sent me a note yesterday. He has a special for the 6-piece towel set, $25 when you use promo code Joey. Just go to mypillow.com, use promo code Joey. You'll get the $25 offer on the 6-piece towel set, and I promise you, these will be the most comfortable, the most absorbent towels that you own. mypillow.com, use promo code Joey. Get the 6-piece towel set for just $25. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio to lose weight for the last time. Visit myphdweightloss.com. As Kamala Harris was taping an interview with CNN, President Donald J. Trump spoke at a steel plant in Potterville, Michigan, where he spoke about the economic failures and financial burden Kamala Harris has brought to the nation. We have those highlights for you. We also have the highlights of last night's first extended interview with Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. I watched it, so you didn't have to. Kamala Harris did not let us down. As one person posted on X, she still got it, referencing her ability to toss out a word salad. Biden continues to vacation for his second straight week, despite saying that he will work like hell until the end of his term. And finally, Greenville County Sheriff Hobart Lewis joins me to talk about Law Enforcement Appreciation Day coming up later in September and the new canine officer named after the sheriff.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson Bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson Bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
Vice President Kamala Harris finally sat down for an interview, if you can call it that. It was with a friendly network, of course, with CNN's Dana Bash asking the questions. It was pre-recorded. Bash is a bit misleading, I would say, because throughout the hour, Dana Bash would come back in saying, live from Savannah, which would lead you to think that the interview was live. Dana Bash was live, but she was just live from the standpoint of introducing a pre-recorded segment that she had done yesterday afternoon with Kamala Harris. The first question was, what, if elected, would a President Kamala Harris do on day one?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
Now, that was pretty specific, wasn't it? I feel like I know exactly what she would do on day one. I probably know more what she'd do on day one than she knows what she'd do on day one. Surprisingly, Harris defended the Biden administration's record on the economy, saying that its policies led to the fastest recovery from inflation in the world. Now, I had to do a double take on that one. In fact, I had to go back and listen to it again afterwards. She blamed former President Donald Trump for wrecking the economy because he bungled the COVID pandemic. Ms. Bass reminded the VP that although her campaign theme is "We're not going back," that many Americans do want to go back. They want to go back to the prices that they were paying for groceries and gas under Donald Trump. Here's the exchange.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. Yeah. One of your campaign themes is "We're not going back." But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost. People, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID. The economy had crashed. In large part, all of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America. And today, we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world. But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it, which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging, what we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years, what we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers, so they can just have enough to put a down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows them to actually get on the path to achieving that goal and that dream.
So you have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited. I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that any longer.
You maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%, when we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America, what we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs, I'll say that that's good work. There's more to do, but that's good work.
And the scary part is she actually believes what she's saying. She is so dumb that she doesn't understand that she and Joe Biden have single-handedly, or actually tag-teamed, to destroy our economy, to bring the inflation to where it is today. The Trump-Vance Rapid Response Team did just that, quickly responded to what Harris said during this recorded interview. 39 days of silence, and Kamala Harris then brings her safety blanket, Timothy Walz, finally sat down. It was so bad that her handlers would never let her do another interview again, some people are predicting. That could have been it, other than the debate. We may not hear from Kamala Harris in that type. She'll definitely never sit down with a Fox News, like with Jesse Waters. She'll never sit down with someone who will really ask her questions. Now,
in all fairness, Dana Bash didn't do badly, but there's some things that she could have done better. So here's what the Trump-Vance team says that you missed. Their rapid response team says that Kamala confirmed that she's still a radical left lunatic by stressing multiple times, my values have not changed. I'm glad she stressed that. I'm glad that she confirmed that for us, because now we know that she's not going to change anything that she hasn't already been doing these past almost 4 years with Joe Biden. She still believes in mass amnesty for millions of unvetted illegals, people we have no idea why they're here. She still believes in ending cash bail, in decriminalizing illegal border crossings, raising money to bail violent criminals out of jail, which she has done. Kamala said that she's so proud of bringing inflation down to a higher level than it was when she took office. Inflation was 1.4% when President Trump left office. Someone needs to remind her that it hasn't been at the Fed's target rate, and we've seen the worst inflation crisis in more than 3 decades. What is she talking about? Cackling Kamala. That's what we're going to get.
Hope you'll join the conversation today. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Send your comments to the Furman Ford text line. You can leave a quick voice message, and your emails are always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. PhD Weight Loss wants you to know, yes, you can. You can get back to your ideal healthy weight. Yes, you can get back into sizes you thought you'd never see again. And yes, you can get rid of that harmful belly fat, all without becoming dependent on medication loaded with side effects. Hi, it's Joey Hudson here. PhD Weight Loss encourages and equips you to lose weight the healthy, natural way and keep it all for the rest of your life. Dr. Ashley Lucas, a licensed registered nutritionist, developed a solid plan that works. Trust me, I lost 30 pounds. You see, PhD Weight Loss removes the guesswork. They literally tell you exactly what to eat each day while you watch the pounds melt away. But they also teach you to think about food differently and to learn to anticipate and navigate situations that make you want to indulge. PhD coaches will teach you to believe finally that yes, you can do it. With no gimmicks or lifelong medications, finally lose the weight and keep it off. Yes, you can. Call today. PhD Weight Loss, 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900, or go to myphdweightloss.com.
Before Vice President Kamala Harris's interview even aired, a clip was released by CNN. I don't know if this was purposely or obviously it was to create some additional interest in the full program last night. But it's interesting to me, the clip that they chose to put out there first. It had conservative internet pundits applauding her latest word salad. Conservative activists, media outlets took to X to share their thoughts on this clip of CNN's interview, as Vice President Kamala Harris explained why her policy positions have changed since she took over the Democrat ticket for president. Now, this was in response to anchor Dana Bash asking, quote, generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you are running for president in a Democrat primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is what your policy would be moving forward? Here's the exchange.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed.
And again, I'm glad that she's warned us of that her values haven't changed, and we can expect more of what we've gotten these past 3.5 years. As you can imagine, conservatives on social media platforms love this clip. It was shared and reposted many times. Conservative commentator Steve Guest posted on X, gobbledygook. The definition of a deadline is the latest time or date by which something should be completed. Noah Rothman, senior writer at the National Review, referenced her comments as rambling. And they were. Charles Cook, a British-American journalist, called the clip an instant classic. He said, undefeated, she still got it even as the nominee. The X account for The Blaze referred to the comment as word salad, a term Republicans frequently use to describe Harris's media engagements, of course. We've all become accustomed to her word salads. So what did you think? Give me your honest assessment. If you watched, now many of you did not watch because you're depending on me to watch for you, and I get that. And look, it's a public service that I offer. I always watch these things so you don't have to. But if you did watch, I'd love to know what your true assessment is. Did she hurt herself? Did she help herself? Or are we still kind of right where we were? My wife Peg said, look, anyone who was going to vote for her before will still vote for her. Those who were not going to vote for her still won't vote for her. My wife doesn't think she gained any ground either way, or lost any, for that matter. A lot of you have chimed in already on the text line, and you're welcome to do so. You can email me directly as well, joey@joeyhudson.com. Faye wrote, Kamala is looking terrible. She looks like she has a sickness. She said she's not changed her values, so she is lying to voters about the wall, fossil fuel, and the border. Wake up, voters. Our country depends on you, all caps. Faye says this can be our last election if Kamala is installed. A lot of other comments as well. Jennifer says, so sorry to hear about your mail issue. That's just shocking. This is in response to, I told the story the other day that I had to put a mailbox that will lock up because someone was stealing my mail. We solved that, though. But this is in reference to a couple of stories that broke this week where a lady had actually put an Apple AirTag in a package and was able to track the stolen box, and the sheriff in the area arrested the person. Jennifer says, regarding the Kamala Tim interview with CNN, I believe that the interview was edited before it aired, which means that anything that makes Kamala look unfavorable to voters was easily edited out. Regarding the election, I believe if the RNC can be successful at ensuring fair elections around the country, Trump-Vance will win. I'm not sure about that editing part there, Jennifer. I don't know that they did any major editing. And the fact is, we'll never know for sure. Fred says, good morning, Joey. I know you get a lot of messages from all of your supporters. I appreciate your optimism for November. I totally agree. This old tune from the Oak Ridge Boys should be our mantra until we make America great again. And he gave me a clip of, or a link back to a song named Touch a Hand, Make a Friend. It's a great song. I wish I could play it for you, but I can't because of copyright issues. I'll get flagged. But it's a hit that was first sang by the Staple Singers in the 70s, and then the Oak Ridge Boys recorded it in 1985, and it was their 13th number one hit on country music charts. The lyrics go, everyday folk are waking up to the need for one another. We're on our way, making the world a better place. Can't you feel it in your heart now? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out, touch a hand. Lord, make a friend if you can. Now the chorus goes, reach out and touch a hand, make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand, make a friend if you can. You know, I wish I could sing it for you, but you don't want me singing. But, Fred, you're so right. This is a message that we need to spread. Reach out, touch a hand, make a friend if you can.
Whether you're replacing a broken appliance or maybe you're just upgrading, you're totally remodeling the kitchen, when it's time to get those new appliances, when you're ready for them, you don't want to have to wait weeks or even months to get started using them, right? Well, that's not the case when you shop with my friends at Discounted Appliance Warehouse. With over 11,000 square feet and 1,500 appliances at any given time, you can buy today and use today quite often. I'm talking about shopping with my friends at Discounted Appliance Warehouse in Pickens. It's worth the short drive over to Pickens. Jeff, Johnny, Kyle, the whole team over there, they'll take good care of you. They have an award-winning service department, expert installation, extended warranties, and at Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they treat you like family. You're more than just a credit card swipe to all the team over there. Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they're proud to offer Speed Queen, the only washer and dryers with manufacturer's warranties that cover parts and labor. You owe it to yourself if you're looking for a new appliance to head over to Pickens to Discounted Appliance Warehouse online at dawpickens.com. dawpickens.com.
As Kamala Harris was fine-tuning her interview with CNN, President Donald J. Trump spoke at a steel plant in Potterville, Michigan, where he spoke about the economic failures and financial burden Kamala Harris has brought to the nation. Trump reminded the nation that over the past 4 years, Kamala and crooked Joe Biden, in his words, crooked Joe Biden, have presided over an economic reign of terror, he called it, committing one economic atrocity after another.
Over the past 4 years, Kamala and crooked Joe Biden have presided over an economic reign of terror, committing one financial atrocity after another. As Vice President, Kamala cast the deciding votes that caused the worst inflation in American history. You're all victims of it. We all are. Everybody is a victim of it. It's a nation buster, costing the typical family $28,000. Under her policies, household wealth has plummeted by $33,000 per family. The cost of the typical monthly mortgage has really tripled, and you can't get the money. So, you know, you will go from 2% to 10%, but you can't get the money at 10%. I guess they want more than that, but you just can't get the money. Credit card debt has ballooned by 40%, and they have the highest numbers in history right now. As of about 3 days ago, the highest number in history. Now Kamala says she wants to talk about the future, but she's been there for 3.5 years. She only wants to talk about the future because the past has been so, the job they've done. Let me tell you, he's the worst president in the history of our country, and she's the worst vice president, and she's the worst border czar in the history of the world.
Trump explained that his vision is for a middle class that is once again the envy of the entire world, telling the workers present that they should be able to afford a nice house, a new car, a growing family on a single income.
My vision is for a middle class that is once again the envy of the entire world. It's going to happen. It's going to happen fast. Thank you. Workers like you and communities like this should be able to afford a nice house, a new car, and a growing family on a single income, all while enjoying the highest standard of living on earth, right? Thank you. Americans deserve safe streets, secure borders, great schools, healthy children, bustling factories, and a nation that is confident and a nation that is strong. That's the future that I intend to deliver, and I will deliver. And you had the best economy in the history of our country just a short while ago.
And, of course, President Trump warned about the radical policies that we'll get if Kamala Harris becomes president, outlining the programs that Harris will implement in reference to allowing illegals to remain in our country, to continue to increase our taxes, and the list goes on.
Kamala is promising communist-style price controls, free taxpayer-funded health care, not that you're going to want, nobody in this room is going to want it, For all illegal aliens, mass amnesty and citizenship for the millions and millions of migrants she lets in. She wants to give citizenship to people that have come here illegally. They didn't come through the system. You know, we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in legally, right? They have to come in legally.
Now, if you were to listen to this and you had no idea of what the Biden-Harris administration has done, you would think that this is just some type of movie out of Hollywood, wouldn't you? That there's no way that the greatest nation on this earth could have someone that would potentially be doing what Donald Trump has just described in this one speech yesterday. In Potterville, Michigan, if you just heard that one speech, forget about all the other times, all the other interviews, all the other speeches that Trump has done. Just take Potterville, Michigan yesterday and take a few minutes and watch his entire speech. You would think this is a Hollywood movie. No way that he could be describing a possibility, what a candidate could potentially be doing to our country. It takes a lot of creativity to come up with some of the horrendous policy that Kamala Harris has come up with and Joe Biden has come up with. I never understand it. I can't wrap my brain around how someone, they live in our country too. This is their country too. And how Kamala Harris thinks that it's okay for us to have an open border to Mexico, that it's okay to allow these people to just walk into our country. It's hurting her too. It's hurting her family. It's hurting California. Look, California's being hit harder than a lot of other states. So how can she possibly think that more of what they have doing? I mean, she has to have a clue too of what a gallon of gasoline costs. Now, I understand she doesn't buy any now, but her family does. I'm sure she still has friends in California who do. And if nothing else, she can go to gasbuddy.com and see for herself. Why would you wish that upon a country that you supposedly love? A country that you want to improve? Why would you, when you say that you want to help the poorest of the poor, that you want to help the middle class, but yet you have reigned over an administration these past 3.5 years who've done nothing but make it harder on the middle class, almost wiped out the middle class. But yet now she says that she's going to be a champion of the middle class. Finally, yesterday, President Trump spoke about the energy disaster that we'll continue to see under Harris, as she will pile regulations on the energy industry. You know, Donald Trump was able to eliminate more federal government regulations than any president in country. As a business person, as a developer, as someone who has seen it firsthand, he recognized just how these regulations were literally strangling American business. And that was one of his campaign promises, and he came through. He eliminated more regulation, cut through red tape like no president has ever done. What has the Biden-Harris administration done? As fast as they could reinstate those, as fast as Joe Biden could sign an executive order, he has tried to reinstate every single one of those regulations. Guess who pays for that? You do. I do. So when Kamala Harris talks about how she wants to turn our economy around, to make it affordable, her idea of how you make it affordable is completely different than what Donald Trump, how he believes we can make it affordable. One of the big sectors who's hit us the hardest is energy. Because, yes, we pay more at the pump, but so do every one of those truckers, And every product practically that we touch today, as you go throughout your day today, just about every product you touch was on a truck at some point. It took energy. It took diesel fuel to run that truck. Trump spoke about the energy disaster that will get worse under a Kamala Harris administration, causing our energy costs to skyrocket even further, if you can even imagine that.
Under Kamala, we are rapidly approaching economic and social catastrophe. Most Americans are unaware that Harris and Biden have been shutting down entire swaths of our energy and electricity infrastructure without replacing it or even talking about it, leading to soaring electrical prices and energy prices, and also an energy shortfall like we've never had before. They're closing down things that shouldn't be closed down. This week, Harris officially banned drilling on 28 million acres of public lands. So what they did is, when they came in, what caused inflation, other than their spending, which was a big factor, but it's energy, because they came in and they wanted to terminate everything I was doing, and the prices were going through the roof for gasoline and everything. So they said, put it back, put it back. So it all came back, or most of it came back, maybe not to the same, but pretty close. They said, go back, after the election. If they ever won, it's all gone.
And he's right. Gasoline prices is probably one of the things that just about every person you speak with will cite as being much higher under Joe Biden. If you look at a study that Forbes did, the highest or the average during Joe Biden's administration in 2022 was $4.06. In 2023, it was $3.47. Of course, it varies around the country in 2024. Needless to say, it's much, much higher than the $2.25 that it was when Donald Trump took office. When he left, or the average in 2020, the last year he served a full year, it was $2.26. So yes, that alone tells you that we were much better off under Donald Trump than we have been under Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris will just be a continuation of what Joe Biden has done. And if you have any question as to what Kamala Harris will do, she told us in her first interview with CNN. She doubled down, saying that she would not ban fracking if elected, and claimed that she never said that she was in favor of banning fracking. But if you look at the transcript of her 2019 debate question, she said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So which is it? I think we all know which it is.
Hope you'll join the conversation today. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Send your comments to the Furman Ford text line. You can leave a quick voice message, and your emails are always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Furman Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Furman Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Furman Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Furman, Matthew Furman. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Furman Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Furman Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Furman Ford online at furmanford.com, furmanford.com. On our guest line today, Sheriff Hobart Lewis from Greenville County. Welcome. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Hope you are.
I am wonderful. So first, before we get into, and we got some good stuff to talk about today. Of course, coming up September 20th is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and lead upstate. They've really outdone themselves again this year. But before we get into that, I understand that we have a new addition to the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, a canine named Hobie.
We that's correct. Yeah, nobody more surprised than me. But we purchased a new canine, and the canine division names those dogs, and they decided to name it Hobie, which is a nickname that was given to me years ago by my parents, and it's pretty pretty. You know, it's an honor for sure.
Of course it is. That is just so cool. You know, Sheriff, several weeks back, we had a news conference just sort of kicking off what was going to be taking place in Law Enforcement Appreciation Day in September.
Mm-hmm.
And we had canine units from all around the county show up over at the Bon Secours Center in their press room there. And it just amazed me. I know how spectacular these units are anyway, with their handlers and the dogs. And I'm a dog lover. I mean, I have 2 Cocker Spaniels, Jesse and Simon. Now, you don't want them working for the sheriff's office, but you know, canines, they're just special, and the training. And so we had 5 that day, and they just sat there right behind us with the cameras flashing and the video cameras there. It's just amazing what they can do.
Well, they do a great job, and their handlers do a tremendous job of training them, and the loyalty shown between the two, I think, is unmatched.
Yeah.
But yeah, our canine division is tremendous.
Yep. Coming up September 20th is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Of course, that entire week we will be having activities and prizes given away. This is a week that law enforcement really looks forward to all around the county of Greenville. Talk with us a minute, Sheriff, about how it makes you feel and the men and women who wear the uniform, how it makes them feel to see the community come together to show their appreciation.
Well, it's a great time. You know, COVID kind of changed how we did lead as far as having a drive-through, and that has really turned out. We've kept doing that because it's a lot of fun, and people, our deputies or police officers around the county are taking their kids to school, and they get to bring their kids through with them, husbands, wives, their families. You know, they come through kind of as a group.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because we get to make a big deal out of the work they do in front of their families. I think that's what I enjoy most. Myself and Chief Thompson, Chief Hamby from Greer is always there. And again, we have the Highway Patrol come through, flood agents come through, Greenville County Sheriff's deputies, Greenville City Police officers, Greer City, Fountain Inn, TR, probation and parole. I mean, everybody comes through that can, for sure, that morning, you know, to get a biscuit, to get a cup of coffee, and just kind of talk to folks. But then they get a gift bag that's got some goodies in it. And Seabrook Marchant and his folks have done a great job of continuing to raise money, you know, because it is expensive. But they continue to raise money to make this happen every year. And it's just a way for them to represent the community and tell our law enforcement thank you for all the hard work and the sacrifice they do. And we certainly can't thank them enough for allowing us to be part of it. But we do have a great time. A lot of volunteers there, and it's just a good time.
Yeah. On our guest line today, Sheriff Hobart Lewis, and you're right, Sheriff. I got to tell you, and I've been there a number of times over the years, to look at that line of cars that start lining up before 6 a.m. and to see those officers from all the various agencies around the county, it's just a special sight, isn't it?
It really is, and to see, you know, I think it represents the relationship we all have working with each other as well, that the community may not understand. A lot of times they don't see different municipalities and the Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Office and SLED working together on things, but The reality is we do that all the time. So to have them there as a group lined up, getting ready to come through, and, we have had Miss South Carolina there. We've had radio personalities, TV personalities there. It's just a lot of fun for them, and it's I think I certainly enjoy it, being able to kind of look, from afar, if you will, and cut up with folks as they drive through and see them from the time they drive up to the time they come through, get a gift and leave. And just one of the coolest things in the world is when they're taking their kids to school and they stop in there first.
Yeah.
And you see them when they're off and they got their kids in the back of the car, and you're making a really big deal out of what their mom or dad does every day. And the kids, just are just so excited to hear about all the great stuff their parents do. To me, that's certainly the most heartwarming part of it, and I always look forward to that.
Yep. It is a very special day. And this is the 10th year anniversary of the Lead Upstate.
Right.
And so there's going to be a lot of special things this year that Seabrook and the team have in store for you. If you happen to be over on South Pleasantburg on September 20th, just come by and visit with everyone. We get started at 6 to 9 a.m. There at the downtown airport. So if you see a line of law enforcement cars that morning, don't be concerned. They're just stopping by to pick up breakfast and pick up a goodie bag filled with things that are donated here in the community. Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And look, if you're listening today and you say, hey, look, I want to be a part of that, go to leadupstate.com. They have a great website. There's lots of ways for you to be involved. Still sponsorship availability. You can just donate because, as the sheriff said, it does cost money. And Seabrook and his team has done a fabulous job over the years raising the money to make this happen. So go to leadupstate.com, click on the donate button, and give generously. Sheriff, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. We appreciate what you do. And look, we call this Law Enforcement Appreciation Day on September 20th, but I would like to think that you guys know just how much you appreciate it every day, because you get up, you put the uniform on so that I can sit here and talk on the radio and be safe.
Well, we appreciate y'all, and we certainly do. Greenville's a very special place to live and work. Not a day goes by the community doesn't recognize law enforcement and their sacrifice, so we're very fortunate.
Yep. Sheriff Hobart Lewis, always a pleasure, and if I don't see you before, I'll see you bright and early on September 20th.
I'll be there. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, sir. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined our mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Just click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, find me on YouTube. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on my YouTube channel. Just search for Joey Hudson. Appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day with me. Be sure and forward this edition of Just the Truth to some friends. Just click on the share button. Send it to a few of your contacts, because if we're going to build our community and if we're going to win in November, we got to build an army of conservatives. The way we beat Joe Biden is through educating people, and no better way than encouraging them to listen to Just the Truth. Hey, keep those comments coming via the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Your emails always welcome as well. Joey@joeyhudson.com. Don't forget to take advantage of the MyPillow special, $25 for the My Towels 6-piece towel set when you use promo code Joey. Just go to mypillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. We're back again tomorrow. Hope you will be too. Remember, God's got this. He's still in control.